The chaos and destruction left in Storm Hank's path across the UK the past few weeks have been absolutely disastrous, and over 500 properties have been completely flooded. All the large news outlets have covered this story intensely, but have left out one key element. How have these floods affected the main people living on the floods, the narrowboaters? One problem, we've been away the past 2 weeks to see family over Christmas, and the marina where our narrowboat lives reportedly has had some huge flooding issues. Yeah, we're pretty much right in the firing line of all this flooding. So better get back down to the marina and see what all the fuss is about, eh? So here we go, January 2024, we're back down on the marina and it is flooded. Well, it's kind of flooded. In fact, we're about 10 metres away from the extreme flooding by the weir and the lock. So it turns out we're safe, for now.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, guys! So we've had 2 weeks off over Christmas from the marina and we've just arrived back to what looks like a huge mud fest.
It is like nothing we've seen before. There is water everywhere. Like, we feel like we're standing on top of a mountain up here. We're like a good few feet higher than we normally are. So it has inspired us to go off on an adventure up the river and have a look at what's going on with the flooding situation, because we're hearing reports about sort of the Bedford area and we're keen to have a look ourselves, and we thought that you might like to come along for the ride.
This is a narrowboat on the left here. It's a project narrowboat. It was never meant to be a project, but it is. Anyway, that's a long story. Can you see something very unusual going on here? Yes, it's our chimney. It's smoking. It means we have finally got warmth on this bitter cold narrowboat. The old chimney fell into the river, so we're currently holding the new one on with zip ties. We had to buy the little hat here separately, and we do not have a clue how to install it, so we've bunged some string on it for now. What are you meant to do? Screw it on? Is it held by tension? We don't know. This is a proper crowbodge, guys. What a way to start the year. And that rope is more than likely going to burn off at some point and then it'll just ping off into the river like the old one. Anyway, the water here at the marina today is extremely high. It's risen about a metre. What are you doing? She's crazy. She's mad.
Look, I can touch it with my foot. It's ridiculous. It's just mad, isn't it?
One day and she's already losing it. Yeah, after Storm Heck hit the UK a couple of weeks back. Heck? Who comes up with these crazy names? It's caused huge flooding, as a lot of you know, and water is coming down from the Bedford area and it is drowning St Neots. Parts down here are very, very scary, guys, and we're going to show you today.
Once upon a time, a platform lived here. It no longer does, for it has been drowned.
First up, we're going to hit the lock next door to our marina, and this is the landing strip for the narrowboats that are about to enter the lock. I mean, look at it, it is completely underwater. Getting into the lock compound is incredibly difficult because it's so muddy, so it's probably a good idea to send Bex in. What do you reckon?
Well, I never. Outdoor swimming pool, anyone? The force in which that's coming through is mega. Has anyone ever seen the film Waterworld? Full to the brim, just like we like our pints. Take you over to the weir now, which you wouldn't really believe existed. So here we have the weir that we've frequently shown in our vlogs in the past. Look at it now. You can't even hear it because the water is so high, it's just level. There is no drop like there should be. This is insane. Just look at it. This is normally where the fishermen sit. You can actually see the level of the barrier here and all the way down, and suddenly up, oh no, no barrier anymore. Let's hope no one needs a life ring. So this is absolutely crazy. I'm just walking up to where ordinarily there's a lovely set of footpaths that take you all through a conservation area. This ordinarily is not underwater. This is my usual path that I go down for my little walks. La 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 la. No, thank you. Anyone thirsty? So here is the weir again. You can just see that it's just not there anymore. Crazy.
Okay, next location, we've just walked up a little bit from the marina now. They've got some private moorings down here. We're just going to see what the flood situation is. Luckily boats float, you'd hope, wouldn't you? As suspected, completely flooded these poor people. So you've got the little boat there. These have just been put on the market the last year, about 5 or 6 plots. A couple of them seem to be sitting in water. Not the best start to the year probably, is it?
I just feel so bad for everyone who's been affected. Like, it's incredible to see, but like, you know, for some people the reality of it is flooded homes, like awful outcomes.
Next up, we're going to head into the centre of St Neots, where supposedly the river has completely burst its banks. So we're just coming to the bridge that we normally go under on the boat.
There'd be a serious danger of hitting your head on the bridge if you tried to go under it at the minute. That's how high the water level is. And if you look just down here, it's the handrail of a pontoon. So that's probably about 1 metre higher than it would ordinarily be, I guess.
Wow, check this out, guys. So normally you'd moor up about here, I think, the bin in the back. Look at that! Wow, bloody hell! This is all meant to be sort of grass here.
Trees no longer have trunks around here anymore. They just start at the canopy because the water is so high. It's so surreal to see.
So next location, we're heading off to Bramton.
We're going to go check out Bramton Lock. See what's going on over there.
God, this is like we're like news reporters. You couldn't think of anyone worse than Crobot going to report on the floods.
Over and out.
News crew are here. So one of the main purposes of today's trips is to try and find some narrowboat locks, because rumour has it a hell of a lot of them are flooding and are causing huge problems across the network. So this is a car park, isn't it?
Yeah, this should not be underwater, and it's like significantly underwater as well. Like,
so we would have come up from here on the narrowboat last summer, and we would have gone up here and up this way. So I reckon the lock's up here, but there's no way we're getting through.
Chris has got some wellies, but he's too much of a scaredy cat to get in there. He's worrying he's gonna like just sort of walk along and then suddenly...
And knowing my luck, you know, that's sort of what happens, isn't it? Some emergency weird pole thing that Bex wanted me to film. She thought it would be very relevant to the vlog. Why did you want me to film the emergency rescue pole?
Well, it's like a proper high-tech emergency equipment here. I've never seen one of them before. Like, just appreciating it, that's all.
So we'd also heard that Bramton Marina up the road had suffered from some huge flood problems. I think maybe next up we should try going up to Bramton. What do you reckon?
I think that is a good idea. We have heard that it is pretty bad up that way, so we're quite interested to see what it's like, really. Not because we're some horrible sickos who enjoy, like, we obviously don't wish any disaster on anyone, but this is the sort of thing that happens just, you know, once in a while, isn't it? And it's quite interesting to see it.
So Becca at this point, guys, is absolutely out of control. There are road signs up telling us you can't go further, it's prohibited. What does Becca do? She goes further. The warning signs are in. Road ahead closed. Becca's going steaming into it. Into the eye of the storm. Going completely illegal now. See your car, red lights. I panic in these sort of situations because I don't like to do anything that you're not really allowed to do. Bex, yeah, she just goes straight for it. She don't care. Maybe it's not that deep. That's Bramton Marina. This is the entrance of Bramton Marina here on the left. So it's absolutely flooded up here. It must be terrible for the residents. We were actually going to get a place at Bramton Marina, weren't we? But we did hear that they did have lots of flooding at one point, didn't they? And they were all on little dinghies going off the narrowboats, weren't they?
Yeah, they told us about it when we went and looked around the marina, didn't they? Like, wanted us to be aware that it's quite a regular occurrence here.
Okay, let's get out of here fast before the police catch up with us. I mean, they're not going to come for us, are they? I mean, I just panicked. There were actually loads of people out weighing in on the disaster, just because it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, the swans are just laughing. I think up here somewhere is where we're going. And we saw a couple of videos throughout the week of the water just coming tumbling in at this lock. So we might not even be able to... We might not even get into the lock. This was just grass, wasn't it?
Road ahead closed, look at that.
Oh my god, look. Road ahead closed, what does Bex do? Just parks up right in front of it where you're not meant to. That's how the pride of eating soak and rolls. You just put the car there. Okay, so just leave that lying in the middle of the road and then off to see what is probably one of the worst lock situations we have ever witnessed. Very close now, we're here. This is it, yeah. A bit like Twister, isn't it?
It is. When is the flying cow going to come across the screen?
Here we go. So let me pause it very quickly for you here, guys, and just show you what this lock normally looks like. This was about a year ago, I think. It's quite a deep lock. It might actually be my favourite lock on the circuit so far. But what you're about to witness is, yeah, very different from this. Yeah. This is normally a really deep lock, isn't it? Like massively deep. Just look at the force coming into it, and as you can see, both sides of the lock doors are open now to just let the water through the whole network.
So this is a lock. There's a grate on the floor that when we've come through before, it's always unnerved us because you walk over and you can see the water like a metre or so below you. And now the water is basically just up to the grate level. Tell you what, there's no one going 4 miles an hour down here, that's for sure. Anyone for a bit of white water narrowboating? Here's your chance. Safely say no one's going to be coming through this lock anytime soon. Art forms in nature. A fallen fence panel drifts aimlessly in the flooded plains.
We've seen enough, let's get out of here. We've parked in a pretty dangerous spot to get here. She's parked on a junction.
I haven't just stopped in the middle of a junction, I've stopped on a closed off bit of road.
Day 2 and things had calmed down a little bit at Marina. Like just a little bit. So finally built up enough courage to come and see what's going on down here at the lock next to the boat marina. Got my wellies on.
Finally got him to don his wellies and come out for a look.
The water levels have dropped a little bit.
It's very slowly sort of reducing. Like, it's not going anywhere quickly, but it is going.
So just as everything has sort of cooled down on the flood front, everything sort of seems to have died down, the water levels have dropped a bit, all the panic of flooding seems to be a thing of the past. But it started to snow. On to the next boaty adventure, eh?